Okay, sports fans, it's Harley Quinn time. And when I mean it's Harley Quinn time, I mean it's Harley Quinn. And when I mean it's Harley Quinn time, it's Harley Quinn time. No. Now we all know that Harley Quinn started out. Now, the original Harley Quinn origin was in shampoo. Was in a soap opera situation. Was in a soap opera. Was in a soap opera show called Days of Our Lives in a dream sequence. At least some people that made that clear in at least some people have made that clear in YouTube in general, but instead of doing the Hollywood take, instead of Hollywooding this up, I'm going to do this in a way that puts Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn on the map for good, and not just making her look like, you know, the one that doesn't know what she's like. Margot Robbie's the queen of all Harley Quinns, and I think some of us know that already. Some of us might not. She was in. Well, actually, let's start with this one here. My favorite, and I'm sure the worst to a lot of other people's opinion. Margot Robbie's portrayal Margot Robbie's and Jared's portrayal of the Harley Quinn and Joker couple. I mean, which is personally my favorite versions of them, since they look everything the comic books have drawn them out to be here. And I'm not expecting you guys to agree with me, but this was the best movie of its kind, especially for Jared Leto as the Joker, and Margot Robbie and Will Smith, and mind you, Will Smith was the genie in the live-action version of Aladdin, which in my opinion was the #1 worst, because well, who wants somebody who was a hitman in the Suicide Squad and then make them up to be the Jolly Blue Genie? Which, like, how does that make any sense? Anyway, of course Harley Quinn had her ups and downs with the Joker in this thing, but it focused on but there was a part in this where she's looking into the chemical, that turned her into Harley Quinn, quote unquote. she I'm not running out of wording here. I'm saying like she has this like memory of that, and then from out of the blue, the episode Mad Love. Because there's a cartoon episode called Mad Love, which was the origin of her and the Joker, and somehow that went into this, in that sequence which she's remembering, and then that comes up. That that could have been a whole other movie right there, you know, of her and the Joker, and it and it was more real than in the Mad Love cartoon episode of what really was happening there, right? It, but then she went on. But then she went on her own. You know, this is about that. Harley Quinn goes out on her own, and basically forms, well, not forms, but takes the most imaginative bunch of bad guys, and she and them become the Suicide Squad, which later in life we have like cartoons and stuff on that with the Joker intended like in there, and then she turns around to a higher audience, and the higher audience would be the Birds of Prey, which for the first time is just a straight up Harley Quinn movie. Not by any means different than this, but in this, the Joker's rarely seen, or not seen at all, and it's more her story becoming the Harley Quinn that she was always the Joker's girlfriend, and she wanted out, I guess, you know, to go with the Suicide Squad, and then become this, the Birds of Prey, which was pretty much the same movie as this, only the Joker wasn't in it. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't in there somewhere, but this is Harley Quinn's story, and it's way more effective than than anything. Like, she breaks out, becomes the Suicide Squatter, and then becomes the Birds of Prey, which and she builds a group of women who are completely badass, and I'm surprised they didn't call this the Badass of Prey, because it's more of a fitting, because that's what these women actually are, right? A bunch of badasses, and they come together to form the Birds of Prey. Now somewhere along the line, Harley Quinn has her own cartoon show, appropriately titled Harley Quinn, which is like, I just came from watching this like some hours ago. I got this from the Waterloo Library, and I gotta say, this is like the most classic, very swear infested, and very quote unquote complete trash, but it's really fun trash. You know, it's amazing. It's everything Harley Quinn ever was, from here to here to a few of the things to eventually this. And believe me, this is no like regular new stuff. It's like who Harley Quinn was born to be. Like, this is who Harley Quinn was meant to be, you know, straight up, with her own, you know, quote unquote people, and she has all these episodes like a cartoon origin of another. Like she changes her person, she forces her, she she turns her personality on to being like her own, you know, person, her own little lady. She and the Joker's in a lot of these things, and she also breaks it off. She's broken it off more times with the Joker than than uh, than she probably thinks, because she's always coming back to him. But in this, uh, it would appear that she is done with him for good, and this is a problem because she's always come back, and now this time she's done because her BFF Poison Ivy has got her to realize, hey, what am I doing? What is this? He doesn't love me. He never did. It was always about the Batman. So this is finally her breaking loose from him for potentially forever. But who knows where this is going to lead to? But season 1 and 2 of the most amazing stuff I've ever seen. And you can totally tell me if you've seen these two, and you can totally tell me if you've seen these things, and like it's fun, This show's really fun. It's really violent, really swear infested. It might be restricted. I'm not sure, but if it's not, it should be, because this is totally R-rated material. But I love it, So if anybody likes this, completely badass movie review,